To understand the V-1, you need to first comprehend desperation. By 1943, Nazi Germany was losing the conflict. The Luftwaffe was severely weakened, Allied bombers were destroying German industry, and the Eastern Front was consuming men and material at a catastrophic rate. When a regime starts to fall apart, it resorts to miraculous solutions, like they referred to as Wunderwaffen, or in English, Wunderweapons. The V-1 was the first of those. Officially designated the Fieseler Fi 103, and more broadly called the Vergeltungswaffe 1, or the Vengeance Weapon 1, it was conceived as a retaliatory instrument. Retaliation against the relentless bombing of German cities. Retaliation against strategic encirclement. Retaliation against reality itself, in some sense. Technologically, the V-1 was astonishingly simple. That simplicity was its genius. At its core, it was an early cruise missile, a pilotless aircraft powered by a pulsejet engine. And that engine produced the infamous buzzing sound that gave the V-1 its British nickname, the buzz bomb or doodlebug. The sound was unmistakable, a harsh, mechanical, staccato buzzing sound, followed by something far more terrifying, silence. Because when the engine cut out, the bomb was descending. The pulsejet engine was revolutionary in its crudity. It had very few moving parts. Air entered through a set of shutters, mixed with fuel, ignited in rapid pulses about 50 times per second, and expelled exhaust to generate thrust. It was loud, it was inefficient, it was unreliable, but it was cheap. And cheap mattered. Unlike the V-2 rocket that followed it, which was technologically extraordinary but expensive and complex, the V-1 could be mass-produced. Roughly 30,000 were built, many in underground factories using forced labor under brutal conditions. That, too, is part of the story. Technological innovation, divorced from moral responsibility, becomes an amplifier of horror. The guidance system was mechanical and primitive by modern standards. A simple gyroscope stabilized it, a magnetic compass maintained direction, a small propeller on the nose measured distance by counting rotations. When it reached a predetermined number, the engine cut off. Then gravity did the rest. No precision targeting, no discrimination. It was an area weapon. And that is a critical point. The V-1 was not designed primarily to hit military installations. It was designed to terrorize cities, most notably London. The first V-1 attack occurred on June 13, 1944, just days after the D-Day landings in Normandy. That timing was no accident. It was intended as psychological retaliation, a message: you may have landed in France, but we can still strike your civilians. Between June 1944 and March 1945, around 10,000 V-1s were launched toward Britain. Approximately 2,400 hit London. Thousands of civilians were killed, and tens of thousands were injured. But here's the paradox. The V-1 instilled terror. It interrupted existence. It compelled the British government to redirect vast resources towards defense and anti-aircraft weapons, barrage balloons, and fighter patrols. In reality, Allied air defenses ultimately grew very proficient at intercepting them. Pilots devised clever techniques, even using their own planes to tilt the wings of V-1s to disrupt the gyroscope and send the bombs spinning off track. Yet again, strategically, the V-1 failed. It did not weaken British morale. It did not stop the Allied progress. It did not change the course of war. Rather, it symbolizes a more ominous and philosophically enlightening concept: the inclination of totalitarian governments to replace strategic insight with technological showmanship. When a system is crumbling due to its own corruption, it frequently resorts to dramatic, symbolic gestures, machines that promise salvation without addressing underlying failure. The V-1 was a weapon of vengeance, not victory. From a purely engineering perspective, the V-1 served as an early version of contemporary cruise missiles. Its fundamental concepts, autonomous navigation, jet engine thrust, and target programming set a foundation for missile advancements after the war in both the US and the Soviet Union. That's the unsettling thread that runs through history. The very technologies that create tools of destruction can also lead us to the stars. The moral weight of these inventions doesn't rest in the machines themselves, but in the people and systems that control them. Think about what the V-1 rocket meant to those who heard it approaching. The sound buzzing overhead was terrifying, but the quiet that followed was even worse. In that silence lay a deep uncertainty. Where would it land? Who would it hit? When technology detaches violence from the human element, the one who attacks, it breeds a different kind of fear. Today's drone warfare reflects that same troubling mindset. The V-1 isn't just a relic from World War II, it marks an early chapter in the saga of automated remote warfare. These machines unleash destruction without the need for a human at the controls. However, it also serves as a warning. Germany poured vast amounts of intellect and industrial resources into creating weapons for retaliation at a time when what it truly needed, if there was any hope for salvation, was a moral reckoning and a dose of strategic realism. Instead of facing its failures, it chose to double down on vengeance. This is a lesson that echoes across the ages. When people or nations fail to acknowledge their own mistakes, they often look outside themselves for something dramatic to blame or retaliate against. They construct metaphorical V-1s, trying to impose order through force rather than by embracing responsibility. The V-1 flying bomb was indeed a technical marvel. It was a weapon of terror, a precursor to modern cruise missiles, and ultimately, it symbolized a declining regime seeking redemption through machinery instead of through truth. A story where innovation exists alongside atrocity, and where mechanical genius coexists with moral failure. Because history is seldom straightforward. The buzzing sound of the V-1, followed by an eerie silence, stands as one of the most haunting metaphors of the 20th century.